Hi, my name is Dennis Allison. I don't know how to put this, but something strange is happening here. I'm 17, living in a small town in Montana. I won't give the town name for obvious reasons, but what I can tell you is that my town is tight-knit. Everybody knows everybody. Hell, at a brisk walking and crossed through it in a little over an hour. Anyway, after senior year, I'm heading to college. Full scholarship, and I'm working at a local restaurant to save up some cash for finances, among other things. Hey, I'm heading to college and want to have some fun, okay? Every day after school, my mom drops me off at work where I spend 4 hours cleaning dishes, bussing tables, and stocking condiments. A little boring, yeah, but hey, cash is cash. After work, I walk home. Takes me a half hour to get home, but the fresh air really helps me unwind. During my walks, I always stop to pet the neighborhood dogs and say hi to an elderly couple. The Roberts, they're in their mid-60s. Been living in the same house at the center of town for longer than I've been alive. Sam Roberts is the retired police chief, and his wife Elizabeth, she prefers Lizzie, is a retired ER nurse. They also have a very lovely pit bull named Rocco. Sam rescued him from a dogfighting ring a few years before retiring. The thought of Rocco going through such things breaks my heart. Rocco is a teddy bear. The couple spends their golden years tending their garden, maintaining the house, and ensuring Rocco spends his golden years feeling safe and loved. I bet you're wondering what the Roberts have to do with any of this. I just want you to know that they are good people. Very kind and more than happy to share their stories if you'll listen. They are where the strange shit started. Forgive my language, but I'm a bit rattled. 3 nights ago, I stayed late to help clean and prep. Work got hit hard, and with my summer vacation just starting, I figured extra hours equals extra cash. Finished around 11:30 p.m. and began walking home. The sun set hours ago and everyone settled down along with it, which made my walk home rather boring. I slipped my earbuds in, enjoying good old Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park. Reaching the Roberts place, I noticed their living room lights was on. To be fair, I've never walked by this time of night, but I figured they would have passed out around 10-ish. I quickened my pace in hopes to say hi and wish them and Rocco a good night. I froze when their living room came into view. Lizzie held a butcher's knife while Sam slowly approached her. I couldn't hear anything thanks to my earbuds, but I could see Lizzie was screaming at her husband, her eyes filled with tears. Rocco jumped and lashed onto Sam's left arm. Sam didn't react, just grabbed Rocco's nape and tossed him across the room. Lizzie screamed again, her eyes following Rocco. That's when Sam tackled her and blood splattered against the window. I ran. I ran and didn't stop until reaching my front door. My parents heard me slamming the door behind me. Naturally, they were concerned, asking me what happened. I ignored them. After regaining my breath, I called the cops, recounting what I've witnessed to the police. It took them 3 times to get me to breathe because I kept hyperventilating. After I finished the call, I broke down sobbing atop my living room floor. My parents consoled me the best they could, but I couldn't hear them. Sam murdering Lizzie and Rocco played over and over in my head. An hour later, cherries and berries flashed through the window, followed by a knock on our door. My parents spoke with the police for a few minutes before returning. I expected them to be mournful or concerned, but no. They were pissed. Apparently, Sam and Lizzie are fine, and some blood was found in the carpet. According to them, Rocco had a seizure that morning, resulting in a pretty nasty nosebleed. The Roberts called a friend a town over who is a vet to care for Rocco and watch him for a couple days. My parents told me that the police will let me off with a warning. Prank calls are a serious offense, and having one on my record could jeopardize my scholarship. I protested, of course. I know what I saw. My parents said that maybe I'm overstressed. With work and upcoming college trip, it would probably be best that I quit. I declined. My scholarship handles tuition, room and board, and I wanted to handle everything else with my own money. Reluctantly, my parents nodded. They went to bed and I followed soon after. I didn't sleep well, barely a wink. I kept thinking of the Roberts. Did I really have a stress-induced hallucination? The following day, I called my boss, letting him know I would clock in a few hours later than I normally do and stay to help closing staff. Thankfully, he told me that was fine. I didn't tell him my reasoning for this, I just needed to be sure. Like the night before, I left work at 11:30 p.m. and hastily made my way to the Roberts house. To my surprise, I discovered Sam and Lizzie sitting on their couch, just watching television. I sighed in relief and I chuckled to myself. Of course, it was ridiculous. Sam and Lizzie love each other and loved Rocco like a fur baby deserves. My spine shuddered as they turned their heads. They smiled and waved, their movements rigid, almost robotic. That isn't what chilled me. It was their smiles and the look in their eyes. They stared at me like stalking predators, their smiles an unspoken promise. Bile rose from my gut and I spewed my dinner across the sidewalk. I looked back at the Roberts. They now stood behind their living room window, still smiling and waving. Again, I ran, yet no matter the distance I gained, I could feel their eyes drilling into the back of my skull. Every time I looked back, I found nothing, no one behind me. 2 blocks from my house, I stopped to catch my breath. Looking behind me a final time, again, found nothing. Perhaps I truly am overstressed. Working, preparing for my senior year, and looming independence of leaving home for college. I waited until my heartbeat slowed and wiped the dried vomit from my mouth. Didn't want my parents to worry. 2 consecutive nights bursting through the front door wouldn't end well. Reaching my front door, I took another deep breath to calm myself. I could still feel eyes on me, but shrugged it off. Nerves. That's all it is. My hand trembled, rattling the doorknob. In the reflection of the door's window, standing under a street lamp, Sam and Lizzie stared at me. Their smiles turned rictus grins. They stepped towards me and I didn't look back. I rushed to unlock the door. I nearly dropped my keys but managed to get inside and lock the door behind me. Mom rushed down the stairs, finding me sweating against the front door. She asked me what happened and I was about to tell her Sam and Lizzie followed me, but when I looked outside, they were gone. The only thing that I saw was a car driving by. I chose not to say anything. After last night's fiasco and the police proving no murders occurred, I felt it was more important to apologize to Mom and get some sleep. Needless to say, I didn't go to work the next day. I spent my day off trying to forget the past couple nights. Scrolled Facebook, watched Netflix, played some video games. But no matter what I used to divert my attention, I still felt eyes watching me. A quick Google search just confused me. According to many medical forums and research papers, stress can induce hallucinations, but are typically very brief. Prolonged, intense stress events can result in psychosis. However, that takes months, even years to occur. I'm not depressed and my family doesn't have a history of mental illness, so why did I see Sam murder his family one night and both him and Lizzie stalk me the next? The more I think about it, the more I believe I wasn't hallucinating. My gut instinct is screaming something is very wrong. Shortly after researching, I got a phone call from Dad. He asked me to stay late at work tomorrow. He knows I'm stressed, but wants to surprise Mom with a date night and will pay me $800. He said he knows my financial independence is important and is very proud of me. But it would do me some good to quit my job, enjoy summer vacation before I take my first steps into adulthood. I've saved a few grand and intend to work part-time while studying my degree. The extra $800 would help greatly. I agreed, accepting Dad's offer and recognized the wisdom. One more year, and I'm off to college. I should enjoy myself while I can. Dad thanked me and repeated how proud he is. Admittedly, a weight lifted off my shoulders. One last night of work, and I can spend the rest of summer however I like. Last night I slept like a rock. Felt revigorated this morning. As promised, before Mom drove me to work, Dad slipped me an envelope with a wink. Mom was curious of its contents, of course, but revealing that would inevitably prompt the follow-up question as to why Dad gave me the money. I simply shrugged and said that Dad lost a bet. Dad and I wagered all the time, so Mom didn't think anything on it further. Mom dropped me off and I waved goodbye. As she drove away, I couldn't help but smile. Mom was going to be so excited. I informed my boss this would be my last day under his employ. While he wasn't pleased, he understood. Work got hit with a dinner rush, which made my shit fly by. Clocked out shortly after 10 p.m., said my goodbyes to my coworkers, and began my walk home. The cool night air felt refreshing, and the smell of rain indicated an incoming storm. Picking up my pace, I wanted to be home before being drenched. Nearing the Roberts residence, I found their house lights were off. I paused, scanning the house, and felt nothing. No eyes on me, no anxiety, no dread. It really was just in my head. I walked home with a pep in my step. No work tomorrow, money saved up, and the rest of summer to do whatever I wanted. When I got home, I discovered my parents' cars were still gone. My best guess is Dad treated Mom to a movie, followed by dinner, and probably drinking until the bar closes at 2 a.m. When you want your wife to feel 21 again, you go all out. Just gives me more time to myself. It's 1:12 a.m. now. I ate a quick snack and decided to write this down. Was never much of a journal person, but after my little hallucination and research, I picked up the habit. And it really helps. Rereading what I have written the past few days shows how stressed I was compared to now. I'm going to continue journaling. Who knows? Maybe one day I can share them with my kids someday. For now, I'm heading to bed and hopefully sleep through my parents' date night when they end it with a bang. I hope my future wife and I will have a marriage just like theirs. Fuck. I woke up to knocking on my bedroom door, my parents asking me to let them in. When my vision cleared, I saw Sam and Lizzie smiling at me through my bedroom window. There's no way. There's no fucking way. My room's on the second goddamn floor. My parents continued knocking, telling me to let them in. They spoke and knocked in unison. I locked my door and pushed my bed against it. My parents and Roberts laughed at me. I think they want me afraid. They could have gotten me while I slept, but they waited. I can't call for help. I left my fucking phone on the kitchen counter. The Roberts are knocking on my window, chanting "let me in" along with my parents. I'm huddled in my closet writing this down. They are knocking harder, glass is cracking, wood is splintering. Please help. The journal closed with a thud and a man sighed. He readjusted his glasses and watched as CSI personnel pushed 2 gurneys carrying adult bodies out of the Allisons' residence. A woman wearing a pristine black suit walked out soon after. She removed her gloves and ran her fingers through her short red hair, closing the distance between her and the man. "Where were they found?" asked the man. "Basement," she answered. "Just like the Roberts." Agent Murphy cursed under his breath. He has seen many gruesome scenes during his long career, and this made his top 10. Dennis's body wasn't found. Do you think? No, Murphy interrupted Junior Agent Knights. Apply fresh gloves and compare the handwriting in Dennis's journal. Following Senior Agent Murphy's instructions, Knights slipped on fresh gloves and took the journal from him. After a few moments, a solitary brow rose on her face. Dennis had a scholarship, Murphy began. He called the police once that bore no fruit. A second prank call would revoke his golden ticket. He wouldn't do anything to jeopardize that, and as you can see, he tapped the journal. His handwriting is clean, but the final page is barely legible. Poor kid was terrified. No, Dennis had nothing to do with this. The Roberts and Allison's bodies were eviscerated, Murphy. Knight shook her head. And the poor dog. CSI says he was eaten. If Dennis didn't do this, then where is he? I don't know, Murphy answered simply. What exactly are we dealing with? Knight asked quietly to not be overheard. I don't know. Murphy's gaze intensified. But we're going to find out. Well, I would like to thank everybody for sticking around and listening to this. This is a story of my own creation, and I do intend to upload at least once a week. I have a couple other stories lined up that continue this one. And I hope the sound quality has improved. Got some of that foam around my room. And I know that my voice acting is blech. But hopefully through time I can get better and improve the quality that y'all experience. Until then, if you would like to hear the next story, please like and subscribe, leave a comment, and y'all be safe out there, yeah?